Iolanta has been on my radar for, before the pandemic, so 3+ years. We're sitting in the Aratani right now, and there's just a lot of parallels to the butterfly project that we did here, where we wanted to take a story and tell it in a way that hasn't been told before, or in a deeper way than it's been told. So when I met Christina Jones in an audition in 2018, I believe, I kind of filed her away as someone I really wanted to work with in the future. Then Isaac Celia, our conductor for this project, his company in Cincinnati, did this opera, and I was following that on social media. He loves this opera.
I saw the Met Live in HD production of this, I think it was like 2015 or 2016, and it blew me away, and it inspired me to learn Russian and to hunt down the musical materials for this, because they're really hard to find outside of Russia, then to mount it at my company in Cincinnati. And it just hit me so hard. I was like, this is such a special piece. I just have to do this. And this is now my favorite opera.
Then, of course, has a great role for Christina Jones. We see Iolanta all the time where a soprano pretends to be blind for 99% of the show. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had an actual blind soprano who doesn't have to act like she's blind? She is blind.
Playing a new character like Iolanta has definitely been different for me, because I've spent most of my career wiping blindness out of my characters. So this is really strange, just because I have to, not blind it up, but I definitely have to, I don't have to be self-conscious about moving like a blind person on stage. Like I don't have to be self-conscious about running into a piece of the set or something, which is weird, because I'm used to that being like, don't do that, Christina. So
And how has directing this show been different for you?
Really different because, even as I'm talking to the camera, I use my hands. Even now, after 2 weeks of working with Christina, I catch myself still like showing things to her rather than explaining things to her. So it's just a whole different process. Even starting with like, well, here's the set design. Can't show you the set design, so I have to explain it. And then we tried to simulate as much as we could in rehearsal of steps and boundaries and textures and all these different things, but you can only do so much. He just comes behind you and puts his hands on your shoulders at some point, and now he's got you in the right direction. Yep, you're gonna make it.
Does that work? Yeah.
That's it. You're right at the corner.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's gonna look like that, just saying. There's gonna be some really graceful swatting.
It's in every facet of like, starting to block the show and thinking, okay, how when we're on stage, the 60-foot wide stage, is she going to make it from point A to point B, and what guides can I give for her, and when does it make sense to have a character actually help her get to a place, but not do that all the time.
It was certainly something I was curious about, like how it would work, what things that we would have to be able to do to help Christina get around the stage, if we had to.
But if we're going to do that, we want to get a little space, so could you walk her, as you take her hands there, bring her center a little bit? So then we can make her.
Christina, you would have no idea that she has a sight impairment, because she just sings so well.
I view my role as a conductor as very much like a support kind of leadership, that like to get people to do their best. And it's just been a reminder to always expand my repertoire of things that people can need and things that I might need to ask for, that I might need to provide to people. Because, yeah, since everyone's over there, that might be better. Or is it difficult to do?
Oh, well, they have the sliders.
Should we move the phone?
But if we can slide it off.
Should we give it a try? See what happens.
Those legs.
Maybe not, maybe not. More in the general direction.
And how has the other cast been adapting under your direction to working with Christina?
They've been so great. Oh my god! Like, and she's told me in some of her coaching, she relies on them.
This cast has been incredible. Everyone has been so patient and supportive and just really, really lovely to work with, and everyone's had a good sense of humor about everything, and you know, I really, really appreciate it.
In any production, people rely on one another, but especially now, they really need to be on top of their stuff for her sake.
She's been so good at telling us what she needs, and I think that has really made the whole process go smoothly.
No one's been too nervous about like, oh, what do we do? She's blind. I don't know what to do with her. So, you know, so no one's been, and you know, if they felt it, they haven't voiced it.
That I think they know that they have like an extra responsibility to be totally on top of things and totally solid, because there are certain cues that she needs to hear to get situated, and it's a lot easier for her to hear them than it is to hear the orchestra acoustically.
We've done it Isaac and Christina have worked together so many hours in the last 2 weeks.
Oh god, we've spent so many hours on this. So she has the text in Braille, and we'll get situated by finding the text, and then she is adding to a document in Braille place markers of like, oh, we're going to call this measure number 90 because that's like bar 90 in the score, and musical indications and reminders of like, oh, you know, make sure to like not slow down here and make sure like get this vowel right here. And then I think she has a separate document where she's also keeping the text with staging indications. So she's like the record keeper there of like the text plus all the information she's adding to it.
Hi.
You missed all the excitement.
I'm sorry.
It was not that. It was too exciting.
Were you yelling?
I'm not doing anything.
That's good.
the part of the opera that really, really got me was the famous duet where Vaudémont finds out that Iolanta's blind because he's like, "Can I have a red rose?" And she's like, "What does red mean?" And the music that follows that is the best attempt to forge some kind of genuine human connection where he explains the way that he experiences the world. Like, here's what light is, here's how I experience it.
Ciudni dar prirodi wiecznej, dar bezcennej światoj, w niom istocznych bezkoniecznej, naszność delna krasa toj, słońce nieba zwiast сияние, po niebieskie garił bom, в супрiodu и создания мы на свете познаем.
Because no one in the opera has been honest with her before that. And then she counters with like, well, that's great, but like, here's how I experience the world. And it sounds like I don't need that thing that you're experiencing. So I've heard people throw around the term differently abled as kind of like a euphemism that's sometimes used for people who are disabled. And so far, this has given me a perspective that it's okay to acknowledge that some people have disabilities, that they have a handicap, and they have to work harder in other ways to compensate for that to get to the same place.
I have learned that really there shouldn't be any walls or boundaries for disabled performers because Christina, it's really amazing what she does.
But I also think this could be a reminder to really push the boundaries of what kind of singers we have on stage. That people who still can get to that top level with an accommodation or through a different channel can still get there. And that expands the number of stories we can tell on stage and the number of literal voices that can be there.
Do you have one like really great memory you want to share so far?
I mean, there's been a lot of fun memories. Christina's very funny. First time I have seen her in person since audition in 2018. I picked her up at her host house, and she said, "I'll be the blind girl with the dog." So I picked her up. I said, "Oh," and she was all dressed up for the first day. And I said, "You look great." And she said, "So do you." And I was like, "Okay, we're gonna be fine from here on out."